we'll see if I can have access to the postman, because now it is nighttime and she should be at the milk bar, so I know where Mama is. Now this is quite tragic. You can see the postman. We've never been in here before, but he has letters scattered about, and he is quite sad. He is in a state of distress. Look, oh, I want to flee, but it's not written on the schedule. To me, the delivery schedule, it's the highest priority. He is cowering in fear. He is terrified and doesn't want to leave because he has a delivery to make. One final delivery. This is a priority mail seal. This is the highest of priorities. I shall deliver it. So we can see that he's excited to have some purpose. I mean, okay. I'm going to go ahead and compare this to real life again. And now that he's in his uniform, he's going to run faster. But I'm going to go ahead and compare this to a real life. Don't slack off, the heavens and the wife are watching. Always with the wife. So imagine this. A lot of people... So me personally, this YouTube channel, this is my life. Obviously, I have other things. I have my girlfriend and my family to keep me going. But as far as leaving a legacy, and as far as what keeps me motivated and going throughout the day, that YouTube channel is my highest priority. And to this, to a working man, the postman duty is his job. This is what he lives for, and this is what he loves to do. And it's very tragic to see that he will not leave his post. Just like those soldiers holding his hand to his heart. It's just so powerful to see that they're so dedicated to their cause that they're not willing to leave their post, and they just want to do what they think is right. So here we'll see the interaction between the two characters. I deliver for you, postmistress. So this is what happens if you don't give it directly to her. Oh my, it can't be. You're still here? Tomorrow's delivery is still scheduled. What are you saying? Don't you see the sigh? It's terrible. But, oh my, well, what shall we do? It's from Kafei. It's priority mail. I'm so happy to think something good would come in the end. Thank you. You flee now. That's an order. Understood. So you can talk to her. Oh dear, you're alright with not fleeing? It looks like this is it for the town, you know. You saw the moon, didn't you? It's gotten so huge. All the townsfolk has fled. You should flee too. Far away. And you can talk to this man. Sir, it's the rules. Please wear your Armani's mask inside the bar. And if you talk to him with the mask, then he'll actually say something along the lines of, just be very respectful and say that you're his favorite customer. But now, what that has done, she has given him permission to leave. So he was so in distress for not being able to leave. I've decided to flee. It is an order from the postmaster. I am now free. I can set my own schedule. I don't need this anymore, so here, I'll let you have it. He resigns and he gives you the postman's hat. He can finally flee like he wants to do, and he doesn't have the responsibility. He is so dedicated. Look at him happily, joyfully fleeing. That is quite the sight. So now, I can be a postman. I can live the life of the postman like I've always wanted. So right now I can wear this and you check the post box and you can see. But anyway, the spectacular nature of this game, some item other than a letter has been deposited, is that I said that his desire to be a postman is very extreme, and it is, obviously. He's very into his job, and he respects that more than anything, and he's willing to give up what he wants to do, which is flee this town that is under obvious demise. The moon is falling now more than ever. It's closer than it has been on this final day. He's scared, rightfully so, and he gets permission. And that's something that you can do. You intervene, and that happens because otherwise he would just be cowering there until the moon falls because he can't do anything. He's obliged to the schedule at hand, and he won't move from his spot because that's how dedicated he is to this town. But now we're going to get this piece of paper, and on a lesser serious note, we're going to do this silly side quest. So, yes, I have one. Here you go, buddy. We've seen this before, but there's the stone. Thank you very much. And this is not the last time that we'll have to get the title deed, and we'll do the actual trading quest which involves getting the spot of each flower for every location in Termina. But now that I have this parchment, this piece of paper, I'm going to actually use it in an unpredictable way. But I'm going to have to wait until it's midnight. So some of the things you can do... let's see, what can I do before the moon falls? I want to showcase a few things to you guys. The first one is we're going to go to West Clocktown. We're going to go ahead and do this piece of information. So pretty much, with the exception of one heart piece, I'm going to have to get it at midnight. That's the only drawback to doing that. So I'm going to go into here. This is actually really unique. So Swordsman School, we're going to talk to him. Oh, how adorable. Let me tug on your long ears. If you study the way of the sword, you'll get your bunny dirty, so put it away. Oh. I forgot about that line of dialogue. Rumors are spreading which suggest the moon is falling, but you can breathe easier as long as I am in town. Tonight I shall cut the moon into pieces. If one does not have such skill, he cannot teach the way of the sword to others. If you wish to be as powerful as I am, then I shall teach you until nighttime. So, will you try it? No. So obviously his confidence is overwhelming and he's not leaving his post either, but we'll see a slight change in his character in what's to come. So there's not really much I can be doing. Maybe I'll deposit some money into my bank account just to set that up before I reset the cycle. So for a limited time I'll give you a special gift based on how much you deposit, and that's going to be the expansive wallet. So yeah, I'm going to deposit rupees. You need to put in a maximum of 200. So that's all of them. And I can only hold 99 at a time, so I'm going to have to do this quite a couple of times, or a few times. And he stamps you. And the one thing I want to mention, another little tidbit about this game, is that, okay, so obviously time travel is a major factor in this game. I'm going to have to reset the clock and go back. But what happens to your bank account? How is he able to check in? Well, he leaves a stamp on Link's hat. And what that stamp does is it indicates how many rupees... Well, this is not actually speculated in the game, but it's common knowledge to understand how this works. So he stamps your hat with the amount of rupees. Probably not the name Thane, as that wouldn't make sense. But since he has the amount of rupees, he's actually, when you reset time, he sees that, like, his stamp, that's his mark on you to signify how much is in your account, he takes from the vault that's behind him. So he actually takes other people's money to give it to you. So Link is stealing money, and that is incredible to think about. The hero of time is stealing money, but I guess it's all for a good cause, so that's okay. And you're resetting time anyway, so you can get as much money as you want. And I meant to do the, what's it called? The raffle, but I completely forgot about that, or the lottery. But anyway, yeah, that's a thing. It's not completely confirmed as canon, but that's the only way that that would work, because he's obviously affected by time travel too. So yeah. We didn't get to see the cutscene with the fireworks, but oh, that's pretty neat that you can see the clock tower moving like that. So now it's the final hours, and we're gonna see that he's gone, and a sign is in his place. So that's kind of odd. If you check this, I'll be on vacation for a short while. Please don't look for me. Okay. If you look for him, so you go behind here, you're not allowed on this stage at any point in time except for now. So you cut this down. And if you go back here, you can see him cowering in the corner, saying, "Ugh, I'm scared. I can't take it. I don't want to die." That is really powerful dialogue. That just shows you how much he is shaking right now. Such a confident man, obviously in the face of an apocalypse. True fear can't hide anything. So that's pretty scary. That was on a serious note, and like I said before, we're going to take a lesser serious note from here on out. I'm going to get that last heart piece and then reset the clock. So these cow bobbleheads are all over the place. It's just a little Easter egg. There's not any significance with them, but I think that's actually a question from the Keaton. He asks how many are there. So yeah, the soldier has his hand over his heart, It's very sad to watch. So if you speak to him, the moon has gotten so large. Quick, take refuge as far away from town as you can. And for some reason he doesn't say anything about the kids that are wandering around. I guess he's waiting for them to go to their mothers, but okay. Yeah, we'll do something silly and then we'll do another thing serious before we go back in time. So if you go to East Clocktown, we're actually going to go to the Stockpot Inn where this takes place. So the door is open, it's left open, and I think everyone has taken refuge except for Anju because she believes in Keifi. But if you go over here to the toilet, a rather insignificant area, you can see that there's a hand. And you can talk to it, and he's asking for paper. So this is a pretty funny side quest. And if you give him any sort of parchment, he'll use it to wipe his butt. So you have saved me. I don't know why he's trapped inside the toilet, but this fell down here. I'll give it to you. You get a dirty old piece of heart with his grubby hand. Question mark. Well, that person was added to your notebook. You helped question mark out of a jam. Yeah, so that's a thing that happens. Give him a piece of paper and yep, you make his day. Even though the moon is falling and there's obvious earthquakes. But okay, now that that's out of the way, on a serious note, you can come here. And unfortunately, because we didn't help Keifi get out of the jam, Anju is just going to be waiting here. She's waiting for Keifi. She believes in him, but we didn't help him succeed. So unfortunately, he didn't prevail in getting his mask, his wedding mask back for Anju. So she's waiting here with her half of the mask. And this is a wedding dress with flowers. So she's waiting here, and yeah, it's pretty tragic because if you fail the quest or you don't help him at all, like I'm doing right now, she decides to wait until the end of the world. How tragic is that? I'm just gonna get this 100 rupees. I might as well deposit this as just one last thing to do. I'm really cutting the wire here. I could play the inverted Song of Time, but there's not really a point since I'm gonna be rewinding so quickly anyway. So yeah, everyone has evacuated in the Stockpot, and at least the family. And just to further the story of the Keifi and Anju quest, so she's up there waiting for him. She believes in him. She believes that Keifi is going to get the mask back and return to her, and they're going to reunite within the final hours. And that's a touching moment in itself if you succeed. But one other significant thing is that if you... Hold on, let's deposit this. You haven't evacuated yet? Nope. Yes. Okay. Actually, he remembers your name. He does, I don't know, on different, maybe he just addresses the customers politely. I'll still go with my theory. But it's definitely not canon or confirmed by Nintendo, so don't take my word for it. But anyway, Anju's mother, who we met previously, she was the one running the inn in her absence. She believes that Keifi is actually cheating on Anju with her best friend. And that leaves... That's just really mature for a game that is targeted for a larger demographic. So I don't want to say for children, but for a family audience. That's some really powerful storytelling, and it's tragic because maybe Anju believes what her mother is saying at some point. And I'm just gonna go up here and I'm gonna show you the outcome, what happens. So there's gonna be this. You'll be hit. Oh no, because we know what happens. We know, we've been here before, we've been through this scene. And obviously, Tail was hit because Tattle, I've had enough. You hit my brother over and over, I'll never forgive you. I don't know if the Skull Kid is above. Actually, what am I saying? I just read the text. I don't know if the Skull Kid knows that we can time travel. Probably not. So he probably doesn't know what Tattle's talking about. But the reason I went up here is because I want to show an alternate scene. So we have the Oath to Order. We have a giant freed. One of them. And I want you all to see what happens if you call that one giant. So, let's see how this goes. I'll have to look at the, again, the TV is pretty quiet, so, yep, it's pretty straightforward. It's just progressing down and then to a higher note. So if you play the order when you don't have all the giants freed, this scene plays out. And I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with this, but it will actually call the one giant that you have freed. So it's rather weird that the Skull Kid is shaking too. Maybe it's the camera that's supposed to be shaking, but I don't know why he's violently jerking in the air like the ground should be. So the giants should be coming. He thinks that we freed them all, but we've only got one. Yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because I thought it was pretty cool that this happens. They probably don't expect the player to be doing this, but if you go ahead and try it, you'll be rewarded with an additional cutscene. Something that doesn't work, but it's still cool to view. So this is the aerial view. This is supposed to be what happens, and this will succeed if we have freed all 4 giants. But we only have, as specified, we only have the Woodfall one that we freed. So he will make his way towards the moon, and he'll attempt to hold it up by himself, but it's too much for one of the giants to handle. It is overwhelming. So we see camera shots of each of the 4 compass directions, and that's where they're supposed to be freed. That's where the giants are located, but they're still trapped by the Skull Kid's dark magic. They're still in the boss figures of each dungeon, so that's kind of sad that this happens. Link should know that this won't work, but he's trying it anyway. And another reason I'm doing it is because I always would go up to the clock tower. As a kid, I'd wait out the days. I'd go to the final day and just sit there and watch. I'd sometimes let the moon just crash if I was interested in seeing the cutscene. And I'm probably going to let you guys view that at one point. Like I said, I'll include it as a additional clip at the end or something. But it's very beautiful to see just the impact of this game if you haven't actually witnessed the game over. That's no good. It's not stopping. It's hopeless. So that's pretty terrifying. There's 1 minute left after all of that. But the final reason that I went up here is because as a kid, I would also wait it out and just come up to the clock tower just to see what I could do to Skull Kid, and nothing will work. He is immune to anything. He would just pretty much laugh at you. That won't do you any good, so nothing you do will work. You can't Goron punch him. Let's see. Just play around here. Like, transform into Goron. Oh, you can't. Huh. Weird. Alright, anyway. Now we will play the Song of Time, and I'm gonna call it a wrap for today. That's going to be my recording. Thank you so much for watching. I'll splice this up accordingly, and I'll let you know when all of this will be posted. If you subscribe to me on YouTube and you take a look at my Facebook page or Twitter and you follow me on those social media pages, I will always update whenever something comes up, so we'll see. And I will undoubtedly finish this game 100%. I'm more motivated than ever. I'm already at Snowhead Temple, so we can progress further from there, and we've got quite a lot at this point in time. So we go to the dawn of the first day. This is where time resets, and I'm just gonna see. The quickest way to the mountains is through the north gate. Yep. Well, we already have a lot of masks. This is almost half of them, and we're not even... I mean, I guess we're pretty much done half of the game, so... Here we go. That's a lot of side quests. There's still some heart pieces I can be getting, but we'll do that next time. Maybe... I just want to show you guys some of the dialogue options available if you talk to him like while you're a Goron. He'll say, "Oh yes, you have the spirit of the Goron who could not be healed." I haven't recovered Majora's Mask. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway. See you all next time. Pound on the drums. Rapid hands. Bye! Hi everyone, I am back playing The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and actually, this is my first time in a while playing, and it may not make much sense initially because I'm putting this in between episode 7, but this is my first recording session in a good while, and the reason for that is I had mentioned it in my teaser trailer video, but I may be taking that down just because it doesn't have that many views. and probably not enough interest. But anyway, I had mentioned that my laptop fried because I spilled coffee all over the motherboard. That was absurd, but I have since received a new laptop, and I mean, it's better than ever, so I actually really like it. It was a graduation present. I had received it on my birthday, so that was very nice of my father. Alright, so anyway, let's get right back into it. I just went to Snowhead because I had mentioned before that I'm going to tackle this dungeon on a new 3-day cycle. So Tattle exclaims that there's something in the middle of the blizzard, can you see it? And if you look in this direction, you can definitely see some wind coming that way, so that's pretty curious, and we're going to actually use an item. Let me take off the bunny hood first. We're going to use an item that we received in this area. So if you use the Lens of Truth, you're going to see a giant Goron, and it might be Big Goron. Oh, that's crazy, his breath. I guess I really never looked at the animation. He like sucks in his belly and just goes all out. Jeez. Alright. Anyway. So now that we see him, we're actually going to play the Goron Lullaby, and because I need to get used to the controls, and again, because the game audio is pretty low, I'm gonna look and see. Alright, so that's probably the most basic song in the game. So let's go ahead and play that. Alright, there we go. I didn't even know that I played it, so yeah, I can barely hear it, but that's only because I want my audio, like my voice recording, to be the priority. So that's gonna put him in a very drowsy state, and he is actually going to fall asleep, so poor guy. We couldn't just ask him to move. Oh, I suppose I should have L-targeted him and just to see what Tattle had to say, but it's okay. We can probably do that another time. So we set him to sleep, and he fell off. And we can actually go visit him later, but you can't see him right now. It's just black fog. And it reminds me of the Spider-Man game on the N64 and PlayStation 1. I played the PS1 version most, but... Oh, that's not a good way to do it. So I just fell into the void. But yes, it reminds me of that. Let's look at the sign, actually. Snowhead Temple. High winds ahead, gusts and snow flurries may blow careless travelers off the cliffs. Like it just did me, because I was careless and used my roll ability. I should not have initiated the spikes, because that is dangerous. I mean, I totally can, and have done that before, but it's very tricky because the slope is narrow. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that my aunt actually got stuck at that part. I know it seems pretty obvious when I describe it that the key to access any dungeon in this game is the song that you learn right beforehand, but to a new player, I mean, that's not exactly a concept that you're going to grasp right away. And yeah, my aunt, I'm going to go ahead and get that magic, because I don't have any. And I should have probably gathered some supplies in Termina Field like I had mentioned before, but I think that we're going to be okay, because everything that we need is going to be accessible in this dungeon. But yeah, my aunt didn't know that you had to put that Big Goron to sleep. And again, I don't know if that's Big Goron, but I'll have to look that up. And I'll provide in text whether or not that's correct. But she didn't know that that's what you're supposed to do, and she actually attempted to make her way across without activating that cutscene, so she was getting blown off by the wind, and she thought it was incredibly difficult. I mean, it was. But she actually she made it to the Goron, and I found that pretty impressive. This is kind of big. It's gonna take more than average strength to move this thing. Thank you, red text. Well, I'm already Goron Link, so I know what I'm going to have to do. Yep, we're just going to push it as the big fella, so... Alright, here we go, second dungeon time. And I highly recommend what I do. I was gonna transform into Link, but I guess 2 Goron punches does the trick. I would certainly recommend what I do in... Well, not that. In resetting the cycle and starting over on Dawn of the First Day to tackle any dungeon. That's definitely the way to go. Because if you don't do that, you're going to run out of time, and it's going to be very unfortunate to have to reset all of your progress. But I've never had that problem. Alright. So there is a Great Fairy down there, but we don't necessarily need it right now. I'm just going to get prepared here. Not going to use the ocarina. Just show you how to get across this room. So you're going to build up your strength in the ice, and then launch Goron Link. And that's supposed to stop him, but I guess I didn't need it. Anyway, there's two Great Fairies that I can see, so we're going to use the Great Fairy's Mask. And the 3DS version definitely makes accessing the menu easier, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal at all. So with the Great Fairy's Mask, it attracts them, lures them, just as it did in the first dungeon. And there's another one in a bubble, so we have to pop these, because there's no other way to get them, unless you use a hook shot. But luckily, they just fly right to me when I put on the mask. And it does that little jingle, so you know that it's good. And here are the freezered enemies that I'm putting on the thumbnail. But they just get demolished with Goron Link, so we can't quite get over this yet. We don't have the ability to melt, even though his punch is clearly a flame punch. So we'll just progress with what we can. Standard intelligence aside, that, oh, I have a flame punch, maybe I can melt this ice. Nope, nope, we have to have the proper item to do so. And this dungeon is certainly built differently than the first one in that you have to pay attention to your surroundings, and there's another video by a YouTuber called Boss Keys that I highly recommend. It's very interesting. Oh, here's a lesser puzzle. It's pretty dang easy to figure that out. Wow, that didn't melt. How terrific. Melt. There you go. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I highly recommend Boss Keys because he describes the layout of each temple. Oh, so that's just a shortcut. That's easy enough. We don't have to defeat that again. I don't really want to. So until we get a small key, we'll go back there later. But, yeah, he just organizes in a very cohesive way how each dungeon is laid out. And he notes that this one, in particular, you really have to pay attention to the environment and make changes to the dungeon. And the quirk about this is that there's a central pillar and you have to adjust it. First you have to raise the pillar and then hit away the discs. I don't know quite how to describe it, but you have to hit away the smaller center pieces of that pillar, and that will lead you towards the top so you can access it. And I don't quite know what I'm stepping in right now. It looks like cobwebs, but it's obviously some sort of... It has to be snow, but it's very oddly textured. I guess not. I guess it's fine, but it doesn't really have an effect like when I slide this, or there's no footprints, so that's... I guess that's where I'm talking about it being weird. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and push this. If you noticed earlier, there's a little indent where I walk, so that's an indicator that it's going to be where you push it. And I guess that just makes sense anyway, because that's the furthest that it can go from its place of origin. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and put that into place. And we can't reach that yet. If we had the hook shot, we could get up there, but we don't. That's later in the game. And even though Goron Link is pretty tall, he can't get up there. So we have a small key. And what's the only place that we saw a door for a small key? I mean, we could go down there where the lava is, but I don't think that's necessary quite yet. Actually, you know what? Might as well. Let's go down there. Let's check it out. Goron Link can conveniently walk in lava, and I don't know if it's specified that in the game at any point up until now. I guess it's just a trial and error thing. He also could have set it on his grave. That's where he leaves instructions as to how to control him, so that's very convenient of Darmani, thank you for leaving that for us inscribed in your tombstone. We all appreciate it. So we're going to access that. Oh, I guess it has to. That must be confusing for a first-time player. Like, oh, those skulls are after me. That was frightening. Like, oh, there's a treasure chest in the lava. How do I get there? I mean, maybe they'd try Goron Link, but let's get supplies needed. Yeah, so I'm pretty well supplied. Anyway, when I was talking about those pillars, those discs, I meant those blocks of ice. So we're actually going to raise this all the way to the roof, but that wouldn't help us at all. So we have to level it out so we can make it to the top and cross the parted bridges that are inconveniently making certain areas of this dungeon inaccessible. So, alright, I'm just exploring right now. And the way that I go about dungeons is I absolutely explore every single room that I can. So this is obviously, we can't do anything here because we can't yet melt ice. So we're gonna have to get out of here somehow. Oh, there's the stairwell. That's the way to do it. Yes, so I really like to approach dungeons in that manner. Just go in every room, explore. I usually use the Great Fairy's Mask in every new room, but I know that this, since it is the main area, that there are some that I can't access yet. Because we're going to revisit that room quite a few times. So let's go in here. I'm just going to punch... Yeah, I just punched that wolf and didn't defeat it, but just taught it a little lesson. I thought that it spawned in the ice, but it didn't. Oh my gosh. Did it? No, okay. Threw me off for a second. Come on, come here. Let me punch you. Oh, that is just brutal. I'm sorry. I take that back. Man, I don't even want to collect your hearts. I just feel bad about that. Alright, so this has to be a map or a compass. It's been a while since I've tackled this dungeon. The last time I have played Majora's Mask 100% is the 3DS version, and obviously a lot of aspects of that game make it easier, but I haven't played the N64 version since I was, let's see, it had to be my 8th year of school, so my last year of middle school was when I played and beat Majora's Mask, finally, so it definitely took me a while. Alright, so we need a bomb, and I don't think we quite have... Oh, yeah, we do. There, that's good. Alright, we don't need to go to Termina Field. We can get everything we need here. But that's gonna be... I'm probably gonna play as Goron Link the most. I'm sure there's a fairy in there. Yes, I was right. Okay, but... Yeah, I mean... Ooh, can we do this, actually? Just gonna try something real quick. The 3DS version and the N64 version aren't that different, but it's definitely made easier in parts. I thought we could shatter the ice, so I just might as well. It was worth the attempt. Like I had mentioned before, this gyroscopic controls, but I mean, structurally, besides aesthetic hints in the Zora dungeon in particular, there's no real benefit. Oh, there we can smash the ice. So they're built the same, but that's... I'm going off of memory here. I'm not using a guide or a walkthrough for this walkthrough. I'm just... If I need a refresher later, then probably, but I don't require it. And as a kid, I definitely got stuck on this dungeon. There's no doubt about the layout of this was confusing to me. But as an adult, just going through this as I can, and I mean, I guess with my experience and an accumulation of like how I go about playing the game, and that's the difference between an adult and a child. They definitely play games differently, because instead of being completely enveloped in worlds and everything is just a new experience and you're wowed by absolutely every aspect, pretty much overwhelming the senses. Instead of that, we're really breaking down analytically, which is what I like to do for this channel, but we are breaking down what makes the game, how it was built, what the developers were thinking when they made it, and we're just considering all of those aspects. And in a way, it takes out some of the fun, because we're not blissfully unaware anymore. But we really try to dissect a game in this day and age. As an adult, going back and playing a video game. And we can respect it for different reasons. I mean, that's why Majora's Mask still remains my favorite game. So the hair's still shimmering, and I think this is a thing that people don't use that much. The lens of truth wouldn't be something you would normally consider. I guess there was a hint that that's there, but it could just be weird texture. But anyway, oh, what did I do? Why did I do that? Need to relearn the controls for this. So, yeah, the only way that I knew that there was a secret there was because of the Great Fairy Shimmer. And I don't think I took advantage of that as a kid, which is yet again another example of how I'm a better player now. But do I have as much fun? I don't know. I mean, obviously this game is really fun and interesting to me, but that's... the fun part kind of takes a back seat when I'm just so engaged in this world and reading the dialogue with the characters. I mean, I play video games for a different reason than I did as a child. And I've probably discussed this before, maybe even in this playthrough, but I just find that an interesting aspect about the dynamic between adults and children. So, it's just gonna destroy these. I don't know if you have to, but... oh, they may infinitely spawn, actually. I think this is a time-based puzzle, so we're gonna try and beat this. What to do, what to do? Oh, I'm sure you have to cross this as Link. Let's put on the bunny hood. I'm sure that'll help me get across. Hop! And I break the crate, and I break the crate. Wow, just magic. Yeah, this is definitely a puzzle-based thing. So I'm going to activate this green switch. What did that do? It's going to lift that up. I can't get up there. Let's see... go on, Link. Give it a pound. Yeah, this is doing nothing but... let's see, I'll have to figure this out. But anyway, I think that'll do it. That has been 20 minutes. I will record the next episode. I don't think I'm going to do in bulk batches. Well, I'm probably going to have to because I'm going to complete this dungeon, but I'm definitely going to do 40-minute intervals at a time, so I'm going to stop the recording and reintroduce it later. You'll have to see. So I'm going to say, hey, welcome to the 8th episode, and I think that'll be better in getting people in at any point in the series instead of just feeling like they missed out, because I do tend to start episodes rather abruptly. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you for the next episode, the 8th episode of my Majora's Mask Let's Play. I will figure out how to do this little puzzle. It's probably not difficult at all. Oh, what was I thinking? I just figured it out right now. Obviously, you have to ground pound this one.